Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have a Norton.com, not Here's a Who, and doing the thing. I know I have not yet completed this question. Thank you. I know. 19 descriptive methods describing what is happening. English, describe what is happening. Learning goal. Explain 3 types of descriptive methods used in research. Now that you have learned the 5 steps of the scientific method, are you ready to look at the process in more detail? Woohoo! We're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. This study unit focuses on the 3 main types of descriptive methods. You can also learn more about descriptive research and the data obtained from this research method in Appendix A. We will continue. We may or may not look at that. Should we? Remember that after you have stated your testable research hypothesis in Step 2, in Step 3, you must decide which research method is best suited for your study. See Figure 1.18. Your choice of research method depends on the goal of your research and your hypothesis. If these pertain to describing your behavior, then you will use one of the descriptive methods to collect data that will test your hypothesis. Hypothesis in the description, ladies and gentlemen. No, scratch that. Claim. It's a claim in the description, not a hypothesis. Thank you. Fucking English. I wish it was my first fucking language. Descriptive methods. Rolling the R's. Descriptive methods can provide a systematic and objective snapshot of what is occurring at a specific point in time. Like right now, it's 1:37 up my ass o'clock right now. These methods are especially valuable in the early stages of research, and when researchers are trying to determine whether a particular phenomenon exists. Let me reread that. These methods are especially valuable in the early stages of goddamn research, when researchers are trying to determine whether a particular phenomenon exists. Like a gun. Hey, that should be my study. Recall that you might want to conduct a study on the question, what study techniques do students believe are best? This! See Figure 118. English 1.18. Orange boxes. Because this research has the goal of describing beliefs or behavior, you should use a descriptive method to investigate your research question. Let's look at 3 descriptive methods. You might use case studies, observational studies, and self-reports. In the process, we will determine which of these 3 methods is the most appropriate to use for this research study. Study. There we go. Because my editing sucks, ladies and gentlemen. Case studies. Case studies involve intensive examination of just one person or organization, or a few atypical people or organizations. What do you mean by atypical? English. Let me redo that. Case studies. Case studies involve intensive examination of just one person or organization or a few atypical people or organization. What would be an atypical person? Kind of like just like a verbal version of asymmetrical. That would be me. Thank you very much. Because of this intense focus, case studies can yield a lot of data. What's your data on me, ladies and gentlemen? For example, case studies of people with brain injuries, probably me, at one point, have provided a wealth of evidence which parts of the brain are involved in various psychological processes. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, but yes, thank you. I may be a little brainicle deficient, guys. Yeah, I'm definitely brainicle deficient, guys. In one case, a man referred to as N.A. I'm going to call him Lucifer, suffered an injury when his roommate Michael accidentally stabbed him through the nose and up into his brain with a fencing foil. Figure 1.20 to see the actual thing. Square, 1987. It was fucking brutal. Although Lucifer seemed to recover, he unfortunately lost the ability to permanently store many types of new memories. Psychologists conducting a research on Lucifer were able to learn a lot about the regions of the brain that were involved in memory. Square ETL period 1989. In Chapter 7, you will learn more about how case studies reveal the brain regions involved in memory. Lucifer, you okay? Am I okay? Fucking A. Listen, do see what happened to you. Case studies. Case studies are a descriptive research method that involves intensive examination of one person or organization and a few individuals or organizations. Advantages can provide a lot of data. Disadvantages can be very subjective. If a researcher has a pre-existing theory, then this theory can bias what is observed, investigated, and recorded. The results from a single case study cannot be examined to other people or organizations. Let me repeat that. The results from a single case study cannot be extended to other people or organizations. Let me fucking read that again. The results from a single case study cannot be extended to other people or organizations. Michael, you son of a bitch. Figure 1.20. Case studies. Lucifer provided an important case study that explored how an injury from a fencing foil left damaged a part of his brain, right, so that he was no longer able to form new permanent memories. Shit, man. Stabby in the facey. However, cringe. However, not everyone who suffers damage to the brain region experiences the same memory problems as Lucifer had. This is a serious drawback to the case study method, because one person or one organization is the focus of a case study. Let me reread that, because fucking English. Because one person or one organization is the focus of a case study. researchers cannot say if... I need to reread that. Because I promise I'm not Lucifer. Because one person or one organization is the focus of the case study, researchers cannot say. Bird, shut the fuck up. If the same outcome will also occur with the other people or other organizations. Observational studies. Although a type of descriptive method, observational studies involve systematically asserting and coding observational behavior across specific time intervals. Figure 1.21. Coding involves deciding which predefined category is an observed behavior fits into. I'm going to reread that. Fucking A. Coding involves deciding which predefined category an observed behavior fits into. For example, birds, shut the fuck up. I'm going to throw you. Flee, my pretty. You are not behaving either. Baby Barbara, I swear to God. Get over here. You are going in the hole. Here, suffer. No, please don't. Ah! Oh, a feather. Anyways, God. Sorry, I had to just, Coding involves deciding which predefined category. I read this already. I'm going to this word, my guys. This 3-letter word called for. For example, researchers can use observational studies in a laboratory to categorize infants' emotional responses to their caretakers after strangers came into the room for a few minutes. That's a word I'm going to butcher. Ainsworth ETL period, comma, 1987. When experimenters directly participate in an observed session, it is an observational study with intervention. I'm gonna need a divine intervention after this one, guys. This and that. The researcher may interact with participants, but does not control the situation to elicit certain responses. I will repeat that. That is, the researcher may interact with participants, but does not control the situation to elicit certain responses. That felt way too boring for me to read like that. That wasn't control enough for me. You! Fuck! Where's my page? Okay, there you are. You will learn more about this observational research and what it reveals about how infants trust their caretakers in Chapter 4. Hear that? Chapter 4. Go to Chapter fucking 4. Are you at Chapter 4 yet? Me neither. Go to your chapters. Do as I say, not as I do. Another example of observational research from the famous primatologist. Jeez, I've never read that word before. Jane Goodall conducted an observational research with chimpanzees in the natural setting in Tanzania across several generations of chimps, because Goodall did not interact with the chimpanzees. He tried as much as possible to use observation without intervention. My seizure is kicking my ass today. I'm trying, guys. I promise. Sorry, I got a little bit of divinity stuck in my throat. Anyways, observational studies are can my place stay in one spot, please? Observational studies are a descriptive method. They involve observing and classifying behavior. I'm observing that this text in the blue is very small, and it's making me very upset. Either with intervention or by the observer, or without intervention by the observer. Advantages, especially valuable in the early stages of research when trying to determine whether the phenomenon exists. Can take place with intervention or without intervention. Disadvantages. Errors in observation can occur because of an observer's expectation, observer bias, and an observer presence can change the behavior being witnessed reactively, geez. I'm gonna reread that. Fuck me, man. Disadvantages. I am at a disadvantage, it feels like right now. Errors in observation can occur because an observer expectations, observer bias, and observer presence can change the behavior witnessed reactively. That's a skunk. I think it's a giant fuzzy shoe. Figure 1.21. I'm not dying, I promise. I may or may not have been stabbed, guys. Swords feel great when they're penetrated through you. You should not try it, guys. It feels so bad. Left! Oh, no, what I said was a coincidence. I promise, guys. I promise! Observational studies. Left. Psychologists can use observational studies to describe how infants react emotionally to their caretakers after the child has been with a stranger. Right. And the primatologist Jane Goodall uses the observational studies to describe the behavior of chimpanzees. I'm gonna speedrun this, guys. Let's fucking go! I am on coffee. Let's go! In this type of research, using observation, researchers cannot control the behavior they are observing. Instead, they simply describe it. Observation research is critical in recording and what is happening, so that it is often the first step to new research where there is not a lot of existing data. And the goal of observational research is learning what is happening. Wow! Oh! Guys. The future research can attempt to predict, control, and explain the phenomenon. You have most likely been a part of an observational research in the past few months. Don't believe me? Look behind you. I promise I am not there. You haven't... I made you look. Have you entered a store recently and noticed employees using a device to count customers? No? In parts of the country where mask wearing was not mandated, observers may have been using counting how many customers were wearing masks to protect against the spread of the novel coronavirus. I promise it was not because of the corona in the sun. It was a virus, not a space. It was not a space virus, guys. I promise you, it was not a virus from space or from the ass of Lucifer from space. He does not live on the sun, I promise. He may be the morning star, but he's not a sun. He may be a son of God, but not my... This kid is angels, not my son. Oh! He says I am the one. Future research researchers may determine whether the factors may make it more likely. Future researchers may then determine when factors make it more likely that people will wear masks when entering stores. However, it is often difficult to observe situations without seeing what you expect or want to see. In conducting observational studies, researchers must guard against observer bias in which errors in observation occur. Because slow down. No. The observer bias can be especially problematic if cultural norms favor behaving in a certain ways. Let me reread that. Never mind. No, I'm gonna read it. From the very top of my screen currently, observer bias can be especially problematic if cultural norms favor behaving in certain ways, like not me, god damn it. For instance, in many societies, women are freer than men to express sadness. As a result, encoding men's and women's facial expressions, an observer may be more likely to code women's expressions as indicating sadness. The same observer may tend to code men's expressions of sadness as reflecting annoyance or some other emotion. Because for some reason, people think that men and women are like different species. I know cultures are different, but you're allowed to feel your feels, dude. From one dude to another, it's okay to cry. You want to be on my shoulder? I will make you not sad anymore. I will turn you clinically insane instead. Pick your poison. In addition, observational studies can produce artificial behaviors that does not reflect how people or animals naturally behave. Like me. For example, the presence of an observer might alter the behavior of being observed. Suppose the research participants want to make a positive impression on an observer. They may act differently when they believe they are being observed. A challenge in behavior as a result of being observed is called reactivity. Hold on. That looks very pretty. Let me say it pretty. Reactivity. Speaking of pretty, I'm going to sing. Once I get my screen back to normal. A classic study on a form of reactivity. The Hawthorne effect is described in the Methods of Psychology, featured on page 32. Self-reports! For descriptive research in which the researcher wants to get information directly from many participants. Neither case studies nor observational studies are appropriate. What the fuck did I just read? I have no idea what I read just now. I just whizzed through it. My brain kind of just did a net. Singing time again! Sorry, I think I got a little bit of sword left in my nose from a completely unrelated event, guys. I remember I was cooking, and I had a butter knife, and it turned me on. Anyway, self-reports. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. For descriptive research in which the researcher wants to get information directly from many participants, neither case studies nor observational studies are appropriate. For such research, the researcher will often choose to get self-reports directly from the research participants. Questionnaires and surveys are two common types of self-reports that researchers use to gather data from the large number of people in a short time. In these two types of self-reports, participants write the answers to the questions they are given on. These research tools are easy to administer and cost efficient. With people who cannot write answers on questionnaires or surveys, for example, young children, interviews can be used. Interviews in which researchers directly ask questions can yield valuable details about respondents' opinions, experiences, and attitudes. In addition, the answers to the interview questions may lead the researchers to ask questions they had not planned to ask. For instance, researchers in psychology has used questionnaires and interviews to learn more about sexual behaviors of women and men in the United States. Figure 1.22, Kinsley et.al. period, comma, 1948. Kinsley et.al. period, comma, 1953. This self-reports research. Hold on. I need to get a little more. Just gotta get a little. This. Yeah! Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do! Fucking A! Okay. Singing time is over, ladies and gentlemen. I think I had a little bit of lead stuck in my nose, too. From an unrelated event. This self-reports researchers have been critical in... I'm about ready to quit, guys. I am on 5 cups of coffee, and it is 2:02, I think, p.m. I mean, it's bright outside, but I have no idea if it's because it's a bunch of angels about to beat down my door and ask for a person. I think I have a warrant out for my arrest, guys, but I'm not sure. It is very, very zesty outside with some suspicious activity. This self-report research has been critical in revealing that overall people are not solely attracted to people to the same sex or a different sex, but rather that sexual attraction exists along a continuum. The space-time continuum? My love is timeless. There's another blue box I can barely read. Let's fucking go. Ooh, I can sing this one. Self-reports, self-reports are a descriptive method that involves asking questions of research participants. These participants then respond in any way they feel is appropriate or select from among a fixed number of options. Advantages: they are easy to administer, cost effective, and real. What the fuck is that word? Relatability. Penelope. Relative. Google.
Relatively.
There we go. Advantages: they are easy to administer, cost effective, effective and relatively fast way to collect data. Disadvantages: people can introduce biases into their answers. Self-report bias: they may not recall information accurately. I may need to repeat that. Disadvantages: people can introduce bias into their answers. Self-report bias is what it's called. They may not recall information accurately. 261 period. I almost gagged on breathing just now. Yeah. The age of the oldest. What the fuck is that word? I can't. There we go. Please speak the word.
Non-marital.
Non-marital. There we go. The age of the oldest non-marital partner at the age of the youngest non-marital partner in parentheses. What the fuck is that word? Tell me the word.
Parentheses? Parentheses?
Parentheses. Thank you. In parentheses, following this is the age of the youngest non-marital partner since the subject was 18 years old. Does the subject have regret over premarital coitus? Whatever the fuck that word, did I say it right? Give me the word, give me the word. Did I say this fucking word right? Coitus. Coitus. Diabetes. I hope I said that word right. No regret is a check mark. A weird cross means little regret. A negative, some regret. An X means much regret. That was 27 period. This is 273 period. The place where marital intercourse occurred. Check routinely out car. Women, man symbol. Church, boat. It's now. There's a person that looks like how most of you are probably looking at me, singing to you. Yeah, interviews. Heck yeah. Some of this stuff is just... Oh, fuck, they're after me.